Shalom, everybody. I hope everybody's off to a blessed day. I know I've had a wonderful morning so far. So this morning was Bible study at the church I attend. It's Northfield United Methodist Church. Now, I still have to figure out the day and time, but I will be starting a CMA meeting, and I will be hosting it there at the Northfield United Methodist Church. So I will let everybody know as soon as I have more details. This morning we're gonna start right away in the Bible. I want to read out of 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Love is the greatest. If I could speak all the languages of earth and of angels, but didn't love others, I would only be a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. If I had the gift of prophecy, and if I understood all of God's secret plans and possessed all knowledge, and if I had such faith that I could move mountains, but didn't love others, I would be nothing. If I gave everything I have to the poor and even sacrificed my body, I could boast about it, but if I didn't love others, I would have gained nothing. Now, love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It is not irritable, and it keeps no record of being wronged. It does not rejoice about injustice, but it rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up, never loses faith, is always hopeful, and endures through every circumstance. Prophecy and speaking in unknown languages and a special knowledge will become useless, but love will last forever. Now, our knowledge is partial and incomplete, and even the gift of prophecy reveals only part of the whole picture. But when the time of perfection comes, these partial things will become useless. When I was a child, I spoke and thought and reasoned as a child, but when I grew up, I put away childish things. Now we see things imperfectly, like puzzling reflections in a mirror, but then we will see everything with perfect clarity. All that I know now is partial and incomplete, but then I will know everything completely, just as God now knows me completely. 3 things will last forever: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. And with that, I will shift over into our daily devotions. Right away, in keeping God in the small stuff, we have a grateful heart. Oh, no, that's November. October 22nd, we have Prepare Now for Eternity. You are investing in an eternity when you spend time with God. Were you one of those kids who procrastinated in school? There are 1 or 2 in every classroom. They don't start the science project until the night before it's due. They don't read the book until the day before the oral report. And they don't study for the exam until the last minute. During the time they would be working, they are goofing off. During the time they should be working, they are goofing off. The moment of truth comes when the comment on the report card reads, "does not make good use of time." That would be a terrible comment for God to say about us. He has given us a limited amount of time to work for His kingdom. We have exactly until we die or until Christ returns. Since we don't know when either of those will happen, we shouldn't procrastinate. Make good use of the time God has given you. Make the most of every opportunity for doing good in these evil days. Ephesians 5:16. Next, we'll read Grace for the Moment. A crisp view of God. Psalm 138:7. Lord, even when I have trouble all around me, you will keep me alive. There is a window in your heart through which you can see God. Once upon a time, that window was clear. Your view of God was crisp. You could see God as vividly as you could see a gentle valley or hillside. Then suddenly, the window cracked. A pebble broke the window, a pebble of pain. And suddenly God was not so easy to see. The view that had been so crisp had changed. You were puzzled. God wouldn't allow something like this to happen, would he? When you can't see him, trust him. Jesus is closer than you've ever dreamed. Next, we'll read from Family Feelings. Nobody ever forgets where he buried a hatchet. Ken Hubbard. Have you ever found yourself arguing with a spouse or family member and suddenly dredging up an ancient quarrel? Or had an old grievance flung in your face? Most of us have. We may believe we've let go of the fight, laid it to rest, buried it deep. Still something rankles within us, a jealousy or dissatisfaction, and when we're looking for weapons in a new fight, we dig up the old hatchet. The truth is, it's probably the same old fight. Between family members, conflicts seldom are truly resolved once and for all, truly let go. We bury them for the sake of peace, but the underlying source remains a live coal ready to flare up. It is possible to let go completely of a sibling who got the attention we craved, or of a parent who punished us irrationally. But we have to want to, with all our hearts. Some old angers are as precious as old friends, but we'll never achieve serenity unless we can release ourselves from their hold. First, we must acknowledge and accept them fully, including our own pain. Then we must recognize that we're different from different people now, and that we want to be different. Our families did the best they could with what they had. Now our lives belong to us. Thought for today. Taking full responsibility for my life may mean abandoning some old maps, like the one that shows where the hatchet is buried. Next, we will read from Dear Jesus. Do not feel guilty about taking time to be still in my presence. You are simply responding to the tugs of divinity within you. I made you in my image, and I hid heaven in your heart. Dear Jesus, being still in your presence is quite a challenge, partially because I have to fend off guilt feelings. It seems somehow selfish to spend so much time seeking your face. However, at a deeper level, it seems like the most important thing I do. I yearn for more than this world can provide. I know heaven will satisfy all those longings perfectly. Yet my seeking heart looks to you even now for a taste of that eternal reality. Beloved, you were not designed to find total satisfaction in this world, because you were crafted in my image. Heaven is your ultimate home. And I placed a bit of heavenly matter in your heart so you would seek me. I delight in your seeking heart. Refuse to feel guilty about something that brings me such pleasure. Much of this world's angst is actually a longing for the perfection of heaven. Blatant sin is often a misguided attempt to fill that emptiness. The God of this age has blinded the minds of unbelievers, so they search for heaven in hellish ways, excesses and perversions of every kind. However, great sinners can be transformed into exceptional Christians when they turn their passionate appetites toward me. My love and forgiveness satisfy soul hunger as nothing else can. Psalm 105:4. Look to the Lord in his strength. Seek his face always. The God of this age, 2 Corinthians 4:4. The God of this age has blinded the minds of unbelievers, so that they cannot see the light of the gospel of the glory of Christ, who is the image of God. In Isaiah 55:2. Why spend money on what is not bread, and your labor on what does not satisfy? Listen to me, and eat what is good, and your soul will delight in the richest of fare. And lastly for the day, we'll read from Jesus Calling. October 22nd. No matter what your circumstances may be, you can find joy in my presence. On some days, joy is generously strewn along your life path, glistening in the sunlight. On days like that, be content. Being content is as simple as breathing the next breath or taking the next step. Other days are overcast and gloomy. You feel the strain of the journey, which seems endless. Dull gray rocks greet your gaze and cause your feet to ache, yet joy is still attainable. Search for it as for hidden treasure. Begin by remembering that I have created this day. It is not a chance occurrence. Recall that I am present with you, whether you sense my presence or not. Then start talking with me about whatever is on your mind. Rejoice in the fact that I understand you perfectly, and I know exactly what you are experiencing. As you continue communicating with me, your mood will gradually lighten. Awareness of my marvelous companionship can infuse joy into the grayest day. Psalm 21:6. Surely you have granted him eternal blessings, and made him glad with the joy of your presence. And Proverbs 2:4. And if you look for it as for silver and search for it as for hidden treasure. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate everybody and everything. Thank you. Autumn Rose signing off.